What's going on, guys? This is Under the Arch Sports. I'm Eric Hobbs, and let's talk a little Mizzou baseball. Before we get into that, I need you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. Right. So, Saturday night, news broke that Mizzou is going to hire Carrick Jackson as the new baseball coach. A little bit about him. He is from St. Louis, Kirkwood High School, class in 1994. He is a former assistant at Mizzou from 2011 to 2015. He was assistant coach under Tim Jameson, and he was the recruiting coordinator. So that's a nice note. And he also has spent time as a scout for the Washington Nationals. He spent some time in kind of talent identification, working for Scott Boras as an agent. And, well, his coaching experience is at Southern, where he took a 9-win team his first season to the NCAA tournament and 32 wins his second year. And this past season was his first year at Memphis, where they were a game above 500, 29-28. And he took them to their best record since 2017. So even though that one game over doesn't look impressive on the surface, digging deeper, quite turnaround for a first year. So that's kind of the quick rundown on Carrick Jackson. As far as what he means for Mizzou, for me, in this coaching hire, Missouri needed to emphasize resources. And what I mean by that is they needed a guy with connections to former Tigers who are in the MLB or just who have money to throw around that might get thrown in the direction of the baseball program. Because as some of you may know, Mizzou's baseball program, the resources, facilities, woefully behind the rest of the SEC. So Mizzou needs to have, we're talking well into 8 figures. They need to come up with like $50 million all within the span of like 12 months just to throw at facilities, a new stadium. And just that would just get them kind of competitive. There's some respected. Because Mizzou baseball right now is not taken seriously in the SEC. You look at other schools, and a lot of these places, it is as important as basketball, maybe more so. Heck, at Vandy, it might be the most important sport on campus. So that's what Mizzou's dealing with. That's what they're up against. And I feel like if they can do this and take it just steps forward. We're not even talking top 25. We're talking competitive in the conference. I think there's enough people who want to follow the team, but just get fed up because they just lose and lose and lose. They've not made the NCAA tournament since joining the SEC. They've not had a winning record in league play since joining the SEC. Half the time, they don't even qualify for the conference tournament. That's how terrible they've been. I guess what Jackson faces, he needs to be able to get in these former players' ears, the mega donors' ears, and convince them that he is worth investing in. And that's what, if it were me, that would have been the most qualifying factor in a candidate is, can you get money into the program? Yes, that's the AD's job when it comes to money and so forth, but it's much easier if you have a coach in place that the people with money like and know. I'll say this. Going for somebody who has a connection and can get money, that may not seem like the most logical way to go about this. You want a guy who can win. Well, what do you need to win? You need to be able to attract players. How do you do that? Well, it needs to be a convenient situation in terms of facilities, resources, fan support, travel. Mizzou takes buses half the time, which no one else in the SEC does. And if they do fly, they fly commercial. Most of these other teams in the SEC are flying their charter planes like Mizzou's football and basketball teams do. So it's just a different standard. And all of that just requires money. So let's say Jackson is able to bring money into the program through his connections, but doesn't bring wins. Well, what's Mizzou going to be in terms of their big picture situation? They'll be exactly where they are right now, but with nicer stuff. And I think honestly, that's a step forward, just because of how dreadful everything is surrounding Mizzou baseball right now. Heck, I don't think there's a player on the Mizzou roster for baseball pulling in any NIL money. I think if the team can at least show that they are, taking steps forward, if the AD can invest in the program and show tangible signs of that, I think the fans want to follow it. There's been enough chatter on the message boards and so forth online following this hire. I think there are people who want to follow Mizzou baseball, but just, aren't going to take the time when the AD doesn't seem to take it seriously. So time will tell, I think. If there's no major investments made, no facility upgrades, if they don't, turf the outfield and have the playing surface be the same for the entire field, then yeah, I don't think anything will change. And I think if he does succeed, Jackson will take a job somewhere else where there's more attention and resources in it and everything. Or he'll just kind of go the way of Steve Beazer and do his best, but just not have anything to show for it. Again, time will tell. That's all I've got for Mizzou baseball. Carrick Jackson, the new coach. Keep tuned here to Under the Arch Sports. We've got you followed for the Cardinals and their terrible selves. City SC back atop the West. And hey, we're going to have a little Mizzou football summer preview coming at you pretty soon. So keep it locked in Under the Arch Sports.